Hey everyone, welcome into Dom Time. Joining me in studio tonight, two really provocative good guys. John Featherman, who writes for Philly.com, among other things, and Wendell Young IV, who is affectionately called a union boss. Now, he's the head of the union that represents people that work in the liquor stores, and this age-old question that really has a mind-numbing amount of minutia. Thank God we haven't gotten down in the weeds. We were starting to get there with the packaging versus buying the case. And that's the type of thing that really I think is example to me of what happens when government is involved in this. But let's go to Steve in Philly, who's been waiting. Steve, thanks for the call on Dom Time. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Dom, I thought starting out the program talking about Wendell's salary was a little foul when the out of the taxpayers' money, when they are only about 1/6, 1/7 of the membership of his union. Don't you think that was a little foul to start out that way?
Well, Steve, Wendell doesn't seem to be. Tell me what your point is again about that.
Well, you started out the program talking about Wendell's salary. I just felt that was a little foul.
I did.
That has nothing to do with the debate here.
John, can you respond?
It has everything to do with the debate. When you are criticizing the governor of this state and trying to paint the governor as an aristocrat, you earn more money than the governor. It's a fair game question. And I think that Dom answered it by saying that he could perhaps even make more money because he has the qualities of a CEO. So I think it's very fair game, but certainly people that are making $30,000 a year should be aware that, someone is making much more money than the governor. It's an issue.
All right, thank you, Steve. Thanks very much. Let's talk about the politics of this, too. Big politics in this. Wendell, do you think if the worst happens from your side, privatization, does that help Corbett in the governor's race tremendously or no?
No, I don't think so. In fact, if you look at the Quinnipiac poll that came out in January, the end of January, just before the governor launched his agenda for liquor privatization, he was doing really bad in the polls. We all know that. The worst, at that time we were told, worst any Pennsylvania governor's been. Since then, his #1 priority has been liquor privatization, and a new poll, Quinnipiac poll, came out about 15 days ago, and he's in worse shape after that. Another thing that's very interesting, both Franklin and Marshall and Quinnipiac have done some polls on this issue, and what they say, and Terry McDonough, I think I read a quote from him, said, the interesting thing is even where the last Franklin and Marshall poll from earlier this year showed only 53% favoring privatization, that the intensity was very low. It was within the margin of error, so statistical dead heat, and the intensity was low. In other words, his quote, no one cares about this. It's not going to affect anybody's electability. And I'd like to go back to one issue on the salary. I don't think it's anybody's business other than my union members' business how much I make. We are a labor union. I represent those people. It's very much their business. What's interesting is people will point out my salary, people like John Featherman, but they don't talk about the salaries of the CEOs who are trying to take over this business for their own profit, that will enhance their own bottom lines and their bonuses. They don't talk about the Commonwealth Foundation, who's the #1 advocate for privatization. And they won't even disclose who their donor list is. It's funding this whole program. So it's rather disingenuous where my business is public record under the law. The people pushing for privatization hide behind these groups, these public interest, so-called public interest groups that they create, these 501c.
So you're saying the Commonwealth Foundation, now they're involved in a lot of things. You think that's the thing? What is it, the Koch brothers or somebody like this?
Absolutely.
The
but they won't tell you. They won't tell you.
Wait, but the Koch brothers are involved?
They will not tell you.
Somebody's
Somebody's funding this and they won't tell you who.
John?
Well, let me say that this is much more than Governor Corbett. This is really about the future of unions in Pennsylvania. If this is won by the unions get to hang on by a thread. If they lose, then Governor Corbett will pass through right-to-work legislation.
He will try to do that.
Oh, he will. He will. He will have synergy. So I can't blame Mr. Young. He's got to win this one.
For viewers, though, just state that. What is right-to-work?
Right-to-work means that you're not required to have compulsory union membership and pay dues in order to work for a company.
Yeah, Scott Walker, Wisconsin, which caused the biggest national furor.
Exactly.
All right, let me go to another caller. Is it John in Philly? Welcome to Dom Time.
Thank you, Dom. My question is for Mr. Featherman. I know that he's a true believer. I'm not going to try to change his mind. But if the citizens of Pennsylvania knew that privatization could cause higher prices, less selection, more alcohol-related problems like it has in the last year in Washington State, whether or not the citizens would really care who it is who's selling them their booze.
Yeah, you've been fed a lot of bunk. I live here in Philadelphia. I had to take Ben Franklin to come over. I'm not the only person who comes over. We have plenty of people from Philadelphia who shop in Camden because there's more selection and lower prices. Guess what? Get rid of a monopoly, you have competition, prices go down, proof is in the pudding.
John's not being honest with you, Dom, or the viewers. The fact is that lots of people, especially along the river wards of Philadelphia, cross the bridges to shop in Jersey. I grew up in Philadelphia. You know, Cherry Hill Mall, the complexes, all those retail complexes, and now occupy the old racetrack and around that area.
Right.
Lots of Philadelphians flock there to buy all kinds of consumer goods, and if they also buy alcohol from time to time. That's it. Delaware and Maryland, favorable tax status compared to Pennsylvania. Privatization isn't going to change that. And if it were true that privatization meant better selection and better prices, the Commonwealth Foundation, Governor Corbett, his staff, and Mike Terzai's staff, the House leader, would have buried the Capitol and you in paperwork showing all that evidence. The fact is, the evidence is the opposite. And Washington State's a great example. They privatized alcohol sales less than a year ago. Prices are up 30, 40% in many markets. Crime's up. Just listen to what the police chiefs of the towns throughout Washington State are saying. This is the police chiefs.
Up because we privatized. And Wendell, you had a fair point there. Then you go, how in the world is crime going to go up?
Go look at what the joint police chiefs in Washington State said as a result.
I have to say, with all due respect to the police and this Les Neary guy, I think they're
I'm not talking about Pennsylvania.
I think they're fraudulent.
I'm talking about
the police are always telling us the same thing. They don't like the Second Amendment, a lot of these guys do, which is another show. Okay, let me take another caller for you, though. Jason in Montgomery County is next. Hey, Jason, welcome in.
Hi, this is Jason. I'm from Pottstown, and if they privatize the liquor licenses and stuff, who's to stop the larger companies to, take those licenses to more populated areas? Like, would I have to drive further? And I don't know. From what it sounds like it kind of looks good on paper, but I think it's going to break down a lot of standards and maybe cost people a lot of jobs, just so a few people can make more money.
Hey, Jason, thank you for calling. Can I ask you a quick question? What do you do for a living? Oh, okay. I'm just wondering. Okay, but John?
Yeah, so let me say two things. First, there can also be a compromise where you have a combination of both privatization and state stores for areas that are less populated. That's done in many states. But let me just say this. Jason, if you really care about being served, if you're in a less populated area, I think it's a lot more important. Why not get the government in the business of having food markets? I'm sure that Mr. Young would be delighted to put an Acme there before we would put any kind of state store there.
Okay, let me wrap up with you guys because of time. And Wendell, you said something very interesting for viewers tonight. You say there's a poll out tomorrow by Terry Madonna's outfit that will indicate what? That a majority of people now, you say, do not favor privatization. They've been spooked on this and they're moving away from it.
I wouldn't say they've been spooked. I believe what you're going to hear is that the more people have learned about the facts, not the rhetoric, not the emotions, not the philosophy, but the facts about our current system, that it is profitable, provides good jobs, we have good selection, good prices, that less people favor privatization, and a majority of people no longer favor privatization. You're going to see that number south of 50%.
And John, final word from you?
Pennsylvania is a great place. This is a place where government should not be in the business of selling alcohol. It should be controlling alcohol, not selling it. Let's privatize and let's do it now.
All righty. What are you running for, John? You said you're not running for anything. You're running on the...
I'm running on the Dom platform.
Well, thank you very much. That is a great platform to run on. And timelines on this. When do you see this? Do you think this comes up now with the budget? We finally get a resolution one way or another on this?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that the liquor system we have is more popular with voters than our current governor, and I'm just not sure he has the juice to leverage a vote on this anymore.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. Right. John Featherman, thank you too. Thanks to both guys. Coming up, a very special final moment tonight. Governor Christie decides to do something about his weight. I'll tell you what that is, and he makes national news, lead news with it tonight. This guy's got media attention. That's straight ahead on Dom Time. Hey everyone, welcome back to Dom Time. I hope you enjoyed that debate tonight on LCB. It's much in the news, and I hope you picked up a few things that I didn't know before we talked about it tonight. Governor Christie today, the New York Post reported in an exclusive with him that he had lap band surgery in February secretly because of his weight, and he claims now to have lost about 30 pounds or so. Now, I was always in the camp that said that Governor Christie, his opponents, when he ran for president, would use this against him, his weight. It is not something that's fun, eating donuts with Letterman, etc. The shtick wasn't working. I'm looking at a poll in NJ.com today that says, though, about 52% of people polled in New Jersey think he did it because of the presidency, not because of his health and family. For whatever reason he did it, I think it's great that he's taking care of his health, but I think he could have had a home run here if he had gotten with Jenny Craig, governor, there's still time to do it, or somebody like that, and had worked out and done those things. He is a commanding presence. He is somebody that makes a tremendous amount of news. There's almost nobody like him in our area that I can think of. So, Governor, good luck, good health. I hope this works for you and that you can continue. And I know it's just another sign Governor Christie is certainly running for president, and it'll be much thinner. Thanks for watching Dom Time.